Begin. Okay.
We're all set.
Um, okay. Good evening, everybody. This is the Finance and Claims Committee meeting for June 11th, 2026. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:02. This evening, we have with us committee members Richard Dellinger, Brian Bailey, Broderick Sawyer, um, Johan Lopez, Nicole Eady, and myself. Also in attendance today, we have Jared Schmidt, CFO, Denise Brown from Oak Hills, Alan Dutton, also representing Oak Hills, Brian Lutz, who's the
Yep.
Parking Authority in Norwalk, and Lisa Biagirelli, who we haven't seen in a while. Um, Monique Siriano and Paul Gorman, and I believe that's it. And Tom Ellis.
McDonald's.
Yes. Okay. Um, okay. The first order of business is the roll call, which I've just completed. Next is the acceptance of the meeting of the minutes from the regular meeting of May 14th. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes? Mr. Dellinger, thank you. Any changes, comments, corrections? Not hearing any. I'll take the vote. All those in favor?
Yes.
Okay, looks unanimous. Any abstentions? Okay, so uh, the minutes are accepted as published. Next, we have public participation. Joyce, do we have anybody that's
Uh, we
online?
we have one attendee, Kyle. If Kyle, if you want to speak, you can raise up your hand.
Kyle, are you there?
Okay, you
Okay,
have a two
Kyle,
minutes.
just unmute yourself and tell us give us your name and where you live, and you'll have 3 minutes to talk on any subject that's on the agenda this evening. Kyle, can you hear me? You there, Kyle? We can't hear you. Do you have
You
your
hear me
mic
now?
on?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry about this. I was just raising my hand to say that I'm a reporter with Nancy on Norwalk, and I will not be making any public comment. Just didn't
That's
want to leave
true.
everyone
You're not.
hanging.
So put your hand down. Okay. Do we have anybody else, Joyce?
No.
Okay, great. Not great. Then let's close public participation. Closed at 7:05 with nobody speaking. Go to item number 5, reports. We have Oak Hills Authority, the monthly financial statements and plus year-to-date statements as of April 26. We have with us this evening Alan Dutton and Denise Brown. So I'll toss it over to you guys. It looks, I reviewed the numbers earlier today, and as usual, they look pretty good. So maybe you can just give us some highlights.
Surely, I'll take the lead on this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I have Denise, the Treasurer, with me. My report's going to be in two parts. I'll keep it as brief as possible. I'll give the financial report to April, and then just a brief statement, if I may, from myself, and then followed by Denise. So, month of April, thank goodness the weather turned, because November, December, January, February, March was pretty miserable. But if it's going to be miserable, it's good to be miserable in the cold when not many two people are playing. So. We look at revenue, we look at expenses, and we look at the bottom line for the month and also year to date. For the month of April, On our revenue side, we were budgeted to do $240,000. We did $301,000, so $61,000 more in our budgeted revenue. Our rounds are up. The weather was good. People came out. Our expenses for the month budgeted to do 189. We did 187. We were $2,000 less savings, even though our revenue was up by about 60,000. So that's good. So from a bottom line point of view, we were budgeted to make $56,000. We actually made $114,000. So we're $58,000 over our budget for the month of April. So obviously a good month for us. Moving on to year to date. April means 10 months in the bank so far, 2 more months to go, June and July. So after 10 months on the revenue side, we find ourselves budgeted at $1,083,000. We're actually at $2,035,000. So we're $200,000 ahead of our budgeted revenue. On the expense side, we were budgeted to spend $1,695,000. We spent a little less, $1,679,000. So overall, within the year to date, we've saved ourselves $15 million, $15,000, should I say. So on a year to date basis, net income, prior to any, other expenses, capital expenses, etc., budgeted to make 137, we made 356. We're 219,000 ahead of our budget with 10 months, and I think a strong May, the weather was good, and probably a strong June will keep us going in this direction. And at the end of April, we had $624,000 in cash. We had a lot more, but obviously we paid our capital for the bunkers and didn't have a lot of revenue coming in for the last 3 or 4 months, so our cash was reduced a bit. Are there any questions on the financials, either for the month of April or on a year-to-date basis?
I had one. The $107,000 that was contributed year to date to the city, not contributed, but paid to the city. Is that netted in those numbers?
Is the what? Sorry, Jim, sorry.
107,000 that was paid to the city.
Yep.
Is that netted?
Oh yes. Well, no, that comes out of this. Yes, that's included in these numbers. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So after we paid 107,000, we still have what, 200 some odd thousand?
No, 107. We give you 150, basically.
Year to date, it's 107, I believe, right?
Right. Year to date is 107, but we owe you about 135 because it's based, Jim, on, as you know, the $2.30 per round plus I think 10% of the revenue. So what we've done, Mark calculates it. Now I'm not sure if the actual cash has been given to you, but it's definitely been accounted for. I know we spent so. We will give you probably about $145,000 by year end, or whatever the actual formula comes to. And we've accrued the 107 within these numbers. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And the restaurant, how about the restaurant?
Restaurant's doing okay. We actually, this last Monday, we had a tent on the lawn. We had a very big golf outing, and we had about 200 people for the reception afterwards for the golf. It was a like a first time we'd had a really big event post golf outing, and seemed to go quite well. Its restaurant is making its budgeted payments to us. It's also paying for our utilities. They pay 30% of our total utility cost, helps us a lot. And it's in its third year now, and it's growing. It's a la carte is still, room for improvement. Getting the golfers up there, private parties continue to do well. The winter's a tough month, fine, but between speed dating and quizzes and comedy nights and special bands, kind of getting through. So seem to be okay in that front.
Good.
And just a quick statement, and then I'm going to hand over to Denise. I'd like to thank Mr. Freya for nominating me 5 years ago to go on to the Oak Hills Park Commission. I think I'm going to thank him. I'm not sure, but no, I'm only kidding. And
You haven't spoken to me since.
and it's been 5 years. 5 years for me. I'm actually termed off. And Denise, who will say a couple of words after me, 6 years for Denise. She has been here. She's treasurer, and 6 years for Denise. And Denise has done a really great job for us, specifically in the tennis area. But Oak Hills is somewhat of a different place now. We average about 48,000 rounds a year, which is a lot. Over these last few years, we've hired a general manager's position, found money in the budget, and it's been a plus for us. We did change the restaurant operator, and the restaurant operates in its third year now, so that's on an upward slope as well. We have a new tennis operator now, Kings High, who was with us for 15 years, but we made a change. We have a local Norwalk person, Arlen Domine, and got more money, an extra $10,000 a year for our concession, and things are going quite well there. And we've also hired Paul Alexander, our golf pro, retired, and we have Nick Novak, who's our new pro, who is a local pro. He was the assistant pro at I forget, was it Waikagill? Probably not Waikagill. I forget where he came from. And he's a local. His kids go to school here, and he's really a breath of fresh air. And it's great to have Nick as our golf pro. So I've enjoyed my time, and not sure who's going to take over for me from me. Who knows? He may be on your committee. But anyway, I'd like to say thank you, and I'll hand over to Denise, if you'd like to say a couple of words.
Thank you, Alan. Yes, I just wanted to say hello to everybody for the last time, since this will be my last meeting with the Finance and Claims. I've enjoyed being on the board. I've enjoyed coming to the meetings, learning different things, meeting different people. So it's been a good experience. And as Alan said, we have made significant changes at Oak Hills. I think they're really positive, good changes. I kind of see Oak Hills as a little bit of a different identity, since we do operate on our own. We have our own budget. We don't rely on the city for anything. And so I feel that, we're heading and we're stronger. And through the last couple of years, making the changes that we've made, I kind of feel that we're in a good position. Serving on the board for 6 years has been very good. So I'd like to take a break and then maybe look at serving again for the city and doing something else. But worked with Alan, worked with Rich, and, Rich and I have been kind of hand in hand in helping the tennis facility grow and doing a lot of things with our fundraising and our Friends of Tennis organization. So it's been very good and very positive. So I just wanted to say thank you all, and, nice to meet everybody, a little bit here, a little bit there. So.
Anybody have any other questions? I had a couple of things I would say later. Rich?
Yeah,
Mr.
I'd
Dillinger?
say, also for the record, several years ago, Denise Brown was the one who asked me for a resume that she submitted for the Oak Hills Park Authority. And so she got me into this. I worked with many years with the Tennis Friends. She's been a tremendous advocate for improving the courts there, and worked with, but not with Tennis Friends, but also on the authority for several years. So she's done a great job. I want to thank you very much. And Alan, my goodness, I've worked as Alan's co-chair for, I guess, the last 2 years. And Alan has brought in, a new restaurant. He's brought in a new tennis operator. He's brought in a new golf pro. He's brought in a new general manager. And some of the biggest changes we've had at the course, and so smoothly done. He has this nice, easy English accent that smooths everything over, and very good on the finances. So thank you both of you very much for all you've done with Oak Hills Authority. We'll miss you, and we'll be seeing. We're going to still rely on Alan as a consultant after he retires. So we look forward to working with him.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you.
I'd also like to just say thank you to Denise, because she's been at this for quite a long time and been very steady and jumped into different things whenever she was called upon and has done a really great job. And I love the improvements to the tennis. It really it's coming it comes across now as a real tennis operation, and it's almost like a little country club over there. You got tennis over in one place and golf in another place, and the bar and the restaurant, everything. It's like a real destination to go to.
Thank
Um, and Alan, I'd like to just say to Alan, I remember I lived in Norwalk for almost 50 years, and I remember going to Oak Hills at the very beginning, and it was more like a calf pasture than a golf course, and they did make some major improvements when they adopted the Golf Authority. Basically, I shouldn't say taking it away from the city, but helping manage it, focus on the operation of the golf course, the support of the golf course, the systems used to book uh, uh, golf rounds and so forth. And it has just changed so dramatically, and it's just such a great example of what a golf authority could do, or any kind of an authority, whether it's stormwater authority, whether it's Parks and Rec authority, or whatever. When we have the revenue comes in and goes back into that asset that the city owns, and it doesn't cost the city anything. So I think, Alan, you've been very responsible and very the one that's been moving this steadily along, not forcing anything in one way or the other, but just a steady hand at the on the tiller, and it's really come out tremendously. So thank you very, very much. You're the best decision I ever made to bring you in.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Okay,
Mr.
thanks.
Dillinger.
Well, thank you, everybody. Good
Yeah,
night.
just one last thing. I forgot, Jim, to mention, thanks to District E Democrats for holding their monthly meeting at O'Dean's last month, because we were trying to promote O'Dean's, and you're helping us with. So thanks to the Democrats in District E who came out that Tuesday for their meeting.
Very
Great.
nice.
We'll have
Great.
more of that. Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, can I get a show of hands for acceptance of the Oak Hills Authority meeting? All those in favor? It looks unanimous. Anybody against? Okay, that's unanimous then. Okay. Move on. Let's move along to the tax collections and the monthly tax collectors report. And also, I guess we're going to do, Lisa, are you going to do the claims report as well?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you, and it's great to see you again. We gave you too much time off, I think.
Thank you. Nice to be back. I'll make it easy for you because this month we do not have any claims that need your approval. So the claims report this month is for your informational purposes only.
Right.
And if, with your permission, I would move on to the narrative that I prepared. We did not officially close out our month of May yet. So I don't have the monthly spreadsheet that I normally do, but where we were, I wasn't with you at last month's meeting. As of the end of April, we were at 98.32%. So we'll be higher this month. What I really did want to speak with you about was the billing for the 2025 grant list and where we currently stand,
Right.
as we are in the middle of June. Motor vehicle bills are going in the mail tomorrow. They've been at the printer since the early part of the month. They go in the mail tomorrow. Business personal property bills and real estate bills will go out later. We're doing the motor vehicles first, which is what we did last year as well. We coordinated our mailing with our changeover in service providers for our online payment and our pay by phone, IVR, vendor. We have had the same vendor for 6 years. We went out to bid. We selected a new vendor, and the cutover occurs next week. This we spoke about at a couple of other meetings, I want to say about 6 months ago.
Mhm.
For our taxpayers, the fees will be less using this new provider. And the city is absorbing the fee for using an electronic check, an ACH payment. So the taxpayer, the customer, will be able to make that payment basically for free at no charge to them. The vendor is charging the city 25 cents per transaction. We felt that we should absorb the fee in order to try to expedite payments coming in, to keep paper and mail out of the mail stream. And that is all going to happen at some point between Monday and Wednesday of next week. We're transitioning off the old system and onto the new system. The new bills going out have the new phone number to call and new information about how to make those payments. If you're paying with a credit card or a debit card, the present add-on fee to the customer is 2.99%. This
Oh,
vendor
good.
will charge the customer 2.25%. So it went down from 2.99 to 2.25. So that's a better, a cheaper cost for the taxpayer. The city
So
does
you
not.
froze up, Lizzie, you froze up there a little bit.
I'm
So
sorry.
could you go back and say, so we have a number, and how does the payment work? Is it credit card, or is it direct transfer, or what?
There's any number of ways that a taxpayer can pay, and that doesn't change. The only thing that's changing is the add-on fee for them. The credit card and debit card fee will be less. They won't be paying 2.99% extra any longer. They will pay 2.25%
Okay.
extra. So it will be less costly for them to use a credit card, a debit card, an ATM card. If they choose to pay with an electronic check, there is no cost to them at all. It's presently $1.25, and we are trying to encourage the use of the electronic check, both in terms of paper reduction and efficiency in getting the payment to the city faster than having the person put the payment in the mail stream, and potentially being jeopardized by delay in the mail. So we think it's going to be an efficiency measure, and we are actually trying to encourage the use of the e-check and discourage the use of paying through the mail. We'll see how it goes. This will be our first collection using this vendor, but I think overall that it's a positive for the city.
Currently, what do you have any percentages as to checks that people bring in, mail in, pay by phone now? Do you have percentages?
I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
It's I mean, we've been trying to encourage online payments since COVID. But
Yeah.
there is a demographic in Norwalk that really does like to have an in-person transaction. So we feel like we have to accommodate everybody. We have to accommodate the people that there is a demographic that likes to pay online. They pay everything online. They're looking for this. There are people who like to use a credit card to pay because they like the points or the rewards that they get. The people who like to pay in person, we take their payments in the office, but we also, as we've done in the past, we set it up with 10 bank branches where they can walk into a bank branch and make their payment at the branch in person, get a receipt, to try to accommodate those individuals as well. So it sounds cheesy, but we really do try to accommodate everybody and try to make the transaction as customer friendly as possible.
I think when somebody's giving you money, you should be very friendly to them.
Yes, we are.
Make it as easy as possible to get their money.
I completely agree.
Right.
Um,
Okay, so it'd be interesting to see how this works, because the percentage of breaking it down by percentage of how many people come in person, how many people mail it in, how many people pay by phone. So I assume that you'll probably be keeping some kind of kind of statistics on how that works out?
I can if you want to. I kind of really focus on the dollars, but I can keep track of, we can start tracking it to see what comes in by mail, what comes in by person. We don't generally do that now.
If
would be
it's
great.
not too much trouble, I think it might be useful to
Okay.
see where that's coming from, because we can focus on, and we can also connect the money to that too, I would think.
Okay.
So the easier and faster we can get the money, the better off we're going to be.
Correct.
Okay.
The only other thing I wanted to speak with you about was the tax sale. We are officially underway with that. Notices of sale will be filed within the next probably week to 10 days. And we started back in December of 2025. There were about 200 plus properties involved in the sale, and we have about 100 remaining, but we have already collected on those properties $3.6 million. And we targeted about a $6 million, between $6 and $7 million for the sale. So we're more than halfway there.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Lisa on any of those items? Okay. All right. Anything else, Lisa, you want to bring up?
No,
Okay, great.
we're good.
All right, so we have the tax narrative, which we actually don't have, but the tax collector's report, the claims report is nothing there to be reported on, nothing outstanding. So can we get a show of hands for approving the acceptance of those reports? Okay, that looks unanimous again. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. It's nice to see you again.
Thank you, much obliged.
Thank you, Lisa.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Item number or letter E, which is the tax assessors report. And I think we have Paul Gorman with us to talk a little bit about is it the roll off on the abatements? I think that you're going to take a look at with the.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's been a while since I've been here, but you probably don't miss me as much as Lisa, and that's okay.
That's not fair.
No, I like not being missed. It's fine. Yeah,
I'll come to your office again if you miss me. I mean,
come on down anytime,
okay.
especially Monday and Friday of next week.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I have several presentations to make tonight, one of which is the EZ zone chart that we've developed in conjunction with Jared that shows the properties and how the enterprise zone affects their assessment and their taxes. But I'm gonna leave that to last. I'm gonna start with just some stuff to get us all caught up. The first thing I want to just let you know, as I promised when I was last here in April, that I would have information about our BAA appointments and stuff like that. So we had 106 appeals that applied, 29 were canceled. The majority of them that were canceled were due to the fact that the people were applying to the Board of Assessment Appeals to contest their phase-in change, which once they received a phone call, they realized that they weren't allowed to challenge that, and so they canceled their appointments. We had 17 commercial properties that were over 1.4 million assessed dollars, so those were automatic cancellations, and that left us with a total of 60 appointments. Out of those 60 appointments, there were 16 no-shows. And out of the 44 appeals that went forward, there were 11 that received reductions and 33 that had no change. And the total assessed dollars reduced due to the 11 properties that were awarded reductions was $419,800 assessed dollars overall. So an average of $38,163 per property that was adjusted, which is a very low number, which it's supposed to be when you're in year 3 after a reval. So those are the statistics for the BAA season this past year. I'll stop there for questions in case anybody has any questions about that particular topic before I move on to the next portion.
Questions? What are some of the reasons for the reductions? 11 reductions out of 106 that you started out with. Is it just mechanical
Well, yeah,
things?
people sometimes will bring things to light to the board that we didn't know about, that the house is in worse shape, or we were reflecting a attic is finished because the people didn't let us in at the reval, so it was estimated that it was finished and they proved that it wasn't finished. Many technical aspects can cause a person to receive a reduction. And the most popular way is that people try to prove their case by doing a comparable sales analysis. And if they bring forth 3 or 4 comparables to show that, hey, you have my house at $850,000, but these 3 or 4 similar houses only sold for average around $775. If the BAA feels as though that makes the person's case, they'll lower their value to what their comparable analysis says it should be. But for the most part this year, most people got turned down because they did not prove their cases.
Well, it's a pretty good, I mean, if you only got 7 or 11 reductions out of 106, that's pretty good batting average, I think.
Yeah. And it was 11 out of 44 that were actually heard, so it was only 25%, which isn't too bad. And for, like I said, to only be averaging $38,000 a property, that's well within what's normally the acceptable range of like 10% or less.
Good.
Okay. So the
Any
next,
any other questions on that?
sorry.
All right. Proceed.
So the next thing that I'm going to move on to is the elderly homeowners benefits. I don't have all the details yet because we're still running the reports, but I have some big picture stuff to be able to share with you. This current year, we took in applications from 338 people. We have 319 people that are still on the program. It's their off year. That's not their year to apply. So we have 657 participants that are on the state level program, which means as a married couple, they're below $56,500 of yearly income. We have
That's the cutoff.
Yeah, that's the state cutoff for a married couple.
It's combined income.
Right. And it's total income. It's before deductions or anything like that. And if you have Social Security, but you like your number is only inclusive of a taxable portion of the Social Security, so we minus out the taxable portion and re-add back in the full, because the state program and our local program requires that the full Social Security be counted towards the total income, not just taxable.
Is that how the state calculates that threshold?
The threshold for the total
56,
income?
56K?
Yeah, although it's an unfunded mandate and has not been reimbursed in at least 10 years, I believe, the state still runs it. We still have to send them reports, and yes, they give us their guidelines to follow.
So are you saying that the state will reimburse us for that?
No, they no
They
longer
do not do it.
reimburse
Okay.
for the elderly homeowners program. And like I said, I think it's been around 10 years since they last paid money on that. It became an unfunded mandate.
That seems rather low. Other states the same? Or I guess it depends on what the tax revenues are and so forth.
You mean the maximum kind
56,
of
the
low?
56K seems
Yeah,
like a
it's
very low number.
and you don't at that level, you only get $250. And if you're under 20,000, you get $1,250. So the state program's not a very rich program. And
To say the
it was
least.
created for those in the greatest of need.
I find it almost that's incredible. I mean, if I was an older person, um, that maybe even with Social Security, if I took my Social Security at the very beginning, it may not come to $56,000. Um, and if I've had a house that I've been in for the last 20 years, I've got to sell because the tax is just going to put me. I can't afford taxes.
It's a possibility that some people could get displaced by their taxes.
Yeah.
I mean, the state has never, in the 20 years I've been doing this, the numbers have never been generous, and it's been targeted for helping those in the greatest of need. But the state statute allows for local options like our local program, and that's where we cross over into the local program, which has a total of 959 participants. And that has a two-tiered program where for between $62,100 and 76,000, or I'm getting it wrong. Up to 61,000, we will pay up to 1,500. From 61,000 or 62,100 to 76,500, we pay 900. So if you're below 62.1, you get 1,500 from the town. And if you're below 76.5 but above 62.1, you get 900. But if you're above 76.5, you currently do not receive benefits from the town or the state. So if you were at $21,000 per year, give or take, you could potentially get 1,500 from the town and 1,250 from the state. So you'd be getting 2,750 off of your taxes. But there are other caveats within the state law and our local ordinances about a person cannot be exempted below 20, like they can't pay less than 25% of their taxes. So if your tax bill is $10,000, you can't receive over $7,500 worth of credit. And then there's also another caveat that says that the amount of money that we give away can't be more than a certain percentage of the budget. I don't have that language right in front of me, but I mean there's a lot of moving parts to it. But the town program is much more generous, just like it is in all the other towns that have town level programs.
It seems to be, I think it's, we talk about an elderly exemption or relief. It doesn't seem like much relief at all when you consider what our taxes look like.
Well, I mean, I've been here 4 years. In April was my 4-year anniversary. In the 4 years I've been here, it's always been discussed. Should we do more? Should we not do more? Probably within the next week or so, I could probably email out to you guys we developed a little report for Greg years ago, showing a comparison of where the people that are on the program fall within the income brackets because he was always interested to see where everybody fell. But based upon the information we've provided over the years, no one has sought out increasing the levels. It's always a possibility, but it comes from you guys and from the mayor and everything. But we can give you whatever data you want as it becomes readily available.
I think that might be kind of interesting. Does anybody else have any let's go into it. Looked like a couple other people had some questions. Nicole, Rich Dellinger was, I think, ahead of you.
That's okay. He answered a couple. I was just curious. Do people, they get rebates from the state and the city for this? They have to pay their taxes? How does that work?
Well, yes, because like I said, they have to pay it. So if a person has a $10,000 tax bill, no matter what they're potentially eligible for, they have to pay at least 25% of that. And
Yeah.
these are credits. So it's just a credit off of the top. So if you have a $10,000 tax bill and you receive the maximum that's from both programs, which is $2,750, your tax bill would just go down to, what's that, 63? No, 73 or 7250.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you would get billed. You would get billed 7250, and that's the program.
And how hard is it to apply? How complicated is this application, both for the local
It's
and
just a
state?
couple of pieces of paper. It's mostly just filling out your name and bringing us your what do you call it? Your 1099 once you file it. And if you are not your 1099, your 1040. And if you collect Social Security, your 1090 SSA 1099. And then we do all the work.
And just lastly, when's the last time this was adjusted or looked at in terms of
Last time that the town's levels were changed, I believe, was just before I came here in 2022.
All right. Thanks. That's all I had.
Zeddy?
All right, thank you. Oh, first, can I just ask, can we bring Jalen Seed, Councilmember Seed, over as a panelist? And yes, thank you, Chair. I would be interested in this. I don't think I understand where the money comes from on the city level. Is that like a budget thing, or is this,
Yes,
we have separate funds for this?
We budget, and Tom and Jared could talk to that more directly, but yes, it's budgeted for, because it's been a fairly consistent amount. That it's around $1.2 million or so that is utilized to pay for these benefits. So it's a budget line item.
Yeah, it's just an offset in our revenue. It's a reduction to our overall revenue in the general fund budget.
Okay. Is it something we could look into for the next go round?
Yeah, well, I think that's what Paul is saying, is that he could prepare an analysis. Well,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, but you could prepare an analysis of how much we have reduced that person's taxes. So basically, what we're saying is, if your taxes are $10,000, if you get you can get $1,000 or $1,250 or $1,500, well, from the state, in just to reduce what your taxes paid that is going to be paid. And that's why Jared is saying that it reduces our revenue, just reduces our overall tax collection.
Other people are paying it, is what you're doing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Lisa's right. It's a shift.
Yeah.
To the extent that you have a budget, we know how much the budget is. We're gonna collect that amount in revenue, and so if you reduce that revenue from one pot or from one population, it's going to get picked up by the other population. So it's not I get it. It's not an easy situation now because with the revaluation, the phase in of the revaluation, taxes going up and other things going up. But we do need to keep in mind that if you do that, if you just break this down into, low income, middle income, higher income, some of that additional burden is going to be shifted from low income to middle income and higher income people. It's just something to be aware of as you talk about this, because it's like any other program. It's, always great to entertain and to help people when you can, but there's definitely a cost to it.
Okay, thank you. And sorry,
You're on mute.
You muted, Nicole.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm
Okay.
sorry. Can Tom move Jalen? Councilman?
Joyce can, I think.
Oh, okay.
Joyce, if you can move Jalen over,
Mhm.
Jalen, let's see.
I think he's there.
Thank
Hang
you.
on.
You want? I can do it, Joyce.
All right, I couldn't see Jalen.
All right. Jalen, you should be good to talk now.
Yeah,
Right
thank
now
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
So I didn't really have anything to say, but I was just here listening. But I do think it's a good idea, and we also often hear about like seniors and the burden that they have, and I think that it is worthwhile considering because this is a population of people that they work, they built their life here in the city, and help build the city to what it is today, and we gotta just try to find some resources to help them. Stay in Norwalk, but I think one of the things too that you kind of mentioned in your presentation that it might be worthwhile looking at some of the city ordinances to maybe change some of the regulations about like how much a resident has to pay, and then that might actually take advantage of more resources that are already in place. So there might be ways to multiple ways to attack this topic.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think, we've since I've been on the council, I hear all the time about, well, we do have tax relief, but when you get down into the weeds here, the tax relief that we have for our citizens is rather minimal. I mean, I think it's pretty ineffectual when you look at the levels of what our taxes are and the relief we're giving. Um, to my example before was that even with the relief we give somebody, I think they'd be hard pressed to even come up with the tax payment in the first place before they even got the relief. So, it's forcing the elderly people to face the fact of whether we want to stay in their home or they want to give it up. And so, we've talked about this quite a bit. So, Jill, I think we'll move forward and see whether I'll talk to Paul and Jared and see if we can get something organized so we can take a look at this and see what it really means and what the impact would be.
Well, it might be worth also talking to the state delegation and seeing if there's an opportunity to restore the state funding, which, may help us and give us an opportunity to, to increase the city's side of the
Definitely.
benefit.
I think that, we're so strapped for money anyway. It goes without saying that the state has got to step in and help us out in this case. But let's get some of the numbers together so we can make a good presentation and understand so that we all understand what the issues are before we move forward. Okay. Mr. Dellinger, do you have another question?
Well, it's just the one thing I can bring up another time, but I was just curious how many times you got in a situation where someone can't pay their taxes and what happens then? I mean, I hear stories they can't pay their taxes and lose their house. I mean, what are the worst case scenarios here?
That's about it.
What is it?
Lisa, do you want to mention that? That's up in your alley.
Yeah, I mean, the state of Connecticut property taxation system is called an ad valorem system. It's based on value. It's based on the value of our property. And taxation is a state function that is delegated within certain parameters to municipalities. So we have the ability to raise local revenue for local services based within the parameters that the state of Connecticut provides. And when you have a value-based system, it's not based on your income. It's not based on what services you use. It's not based on your age or your position in the community. It's based solely on the value of your property. So when you have that type of system, there are going to be situations where an individual's income might not be able to keep pace with the value of the property. So the way we at the local level and the state level deal with this is we try to have various exemption programs where we take a portion of the assessed value away, or we give, like Paul was explaining, a dollar amount credit off the top of the bill. So for example, those elderly programs that we spoke of, when that taxpayer gets their tax bill, it shows them right on that bill that they're getting a $1,600 credit from the city. Maybe they're getting a $250 credit from the state. It's all broken down there. But the fact of the matter is, yes, we have a $380 million budget. Board of Estimate tells me how much money to collect. My job under state law, I have a warrant from the state that says you are commanded to collect these taxes as listed in your rate bill. If anyone fails to pay, you are to make demand of them. If they fail to meet the demand, you are commanded to levy and sell their property and pay the tax. And that is exactly what we do in the city of Norwalk. And we've been doing it. I came in 2000. We've been doing it since 2003. And when I gave you the figures before about the $3.6 million that we collected on tax sale, those were individuals who didn't pay their taxes when they were due. We sent them a demand. We said, we're having a tax sale in August. If you don't pay your taxes, we will sell your property to pay your taxes. And that's basically how you have a 98% collection rate, is we don't allow folks to go 2 and 3 years without paying their taxes. We will seize the property and sell it.
I understand that. I get it. And you, therefore, it's very easy to see over the last 4 years what the increase in those tax sales are. It's very easy to track that. I was just curious if that got higher the last 4 years and to what degree.
Not really, no, it didn't. No.
Okay, my question was really, how bad has it gotten over the last 4 years since we were reassessed in terms of those tax sales? So it sounds like it's been pretty consistently the same.
It has. Yes.
That was
and it's very rare, right, Lisa? I think rare is the right characterization of at those times where the city ends up taking that property because of non-payment of taxes. And if you look back at the last tax sale, there were very few, 6 or something like that. And I'm not even sure how many actually ended up being sold.
Well, we'll start with 250 properties, and then we'll end up with maybe 24 at the sale, and then they have a 6-month redemption period. We'll end up maybe deeding over 5 or 6.
Got it.
And there's 30,000 parcels in Norwalk.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it because I kind of hear frequently, oh, I can't pay my taxes, I'm going to lose it. I just want to know what the reality was in terms of, what that number was. So it's pretty low. Thanks.
And it's also those people, those 6 or 8 at the end, it's not necessarily because they're elderly and low income and couldn't afford it. There's, each one of them has a different story about why we had to do that. So
thanks. I just want to get a sense of how the trend was. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I think that this is an area that we talk about once in a while, and I don't know whether everybody, at least I've never seen any analysis of what it costs us, what it could cost us, or any of the mechanics of it. So I think it's something that we should get some more information on, and Paul will talk to you some more, and maybe you can get back to us, and we'll organize something.
Jalen has his hand up, Jim.
Yeah, Mr. Seed.
Yeah, thank you, and I agree with that. But I think too it's worth mentioning that there are some people that say, hey, they can't afford the taxes, and they don't wait for the tax bill to go. They still pay it, but then they sell their house because they move. So I mean, those statistics is harder to get because we don't have a questionnaire when people sell their house. But I think that's one of the things too, that like I know personally a few people just recently that had to sell their house. And luckily it's still in Norwalk. But there are people, they don't wait for the tax bill to get past due 2 or 3 years. They just go and they sell their home and they downsize because they can't afford the taxes. So I think there are different factors, just so that we can look at the whole story. But again, not to belate it anymore. I think it's just worth us just looking at all the avenues to see how we can help the people who help build the city of Norwalk.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're talking about here is really just tax relief that the city might, the city and the state might be able to afford to bail some people out. But your comment too is it's straight ahead. It is a problem, and it's hard to get a real good handle on people. We don't have any real statistics that say this is why I'm selling my house because I can't afford the taxes. But we can get some information, I think, anecdotally, maybe put it together, but it doesn't address this particular problem. But let's find out what we can do. Okay. Any other questions on the tax relief?
Well, I'm just going to make a last couple of comments. To
Okay.
Jared's point, I'm heavily involved in my assessors association with following legislation and everything like that. I would not expect the state to ever reinstate that program. It's been being asked for ever since they took it away. But again, doesn't hurt to ask, but I would not expect it. The other side of it is, and it was already talked about a little bit, but I just felt it needs to be reiterated. This is a cyclical thing. If you take away taxes from one person, they're going to be paid by someone else, and that burden's going to be on that someone else. And I've always thought about it, okay, you have a person who is 75 years old and they're making $70,000 in income in retirement. And then you've got a 50-year-old who's only making $55,000. So the program is only for elderly people, but there are elderly people that are getting assistance that are making $20,000, $30,000 more than somebody else who's also struggling. It's like Lisa said, this is an ad valorem tax system that we tax people based upon the value of their homes. And some of the times, because I get a lot of these phone calls. I had a woman down on Bell Island call me. She had a 3,900 square foot house. It was worth $1.4 million, and she had been living in it by herself for the last 10 years, but it's her home. She doesn't want to leave. I understand that. But because the system that the state puts upon us, sometimes you can't afford to stay in what you want. You have to live in what you can afford. And I throw caution out there to I can give you all the statistics I want of the participant levels, but we need to take a hard look at what level, how do we draw the line of where we say we're giving relief to the right amount of people? Because do you want to be giving relief to retirees that are making $100,000 a year, $90,000 a year, $80,000 a year? No matter where you put that line is going to tick someone off. And I'll end this part of this with, at least my part of it, with one example. When I first started in Trumbull, and it was 18 years ago, my staff got yelled at by a woman who at that time was making $140,000 a year in retirement income. And she yelled at us for not giving her a $750 credit on her taxes. And that 140 today would be translatable to probably over $200,000. So it doesn't matter where you draw the line. There's always going to be somebody saying, hey, I can't afford to live here anymore because you chose to not help me out. So we need to look at more than just who's currently participating, but we need to look at national trending and with elderly income, there'd be a lot of stuff should be looked at to know where we should go with this, but I'll provide whatever I can to help.
Okay. Okay, so let's move on with this,
Yep.
and we have some work to be done.
Yep. So my
Um,
next thing is really quick. It's just going to be an update on MTS, which is Municipal Tax Services, which is the cars. And I just have some quick statistics to share with you. Let me just get them up on my screen here. So they've had established a total of 1,909 cases since they've started.
Paul, can you share this information with us online?
Yeah, I could email it out. It's just in an email right now. I'll put it into a chart for you guys, and I can email it out if you want. Because right now
Okay.
it's just in an email written.
Okay.
All right. And we've had right now with all the cases that have passed their 30 days after the letters go out and they have 30 days to dispute it. We've actually had 692 cases that have come to fruition and have been billed. And those total assessments of those vehicles is $10,517 and $10,517,447 of assessed dollars. So for next month, because all the batches of bills have been completed, and I can give you better statistics next month of like actual dollars that were billed against those assessments. And with Lisa's help, we could probably come up with like how many bills have actually been paid versus how many bills are still sitting out there and things like that. Not to make Lisa my helper, but if she doesn't mind helping with that side, I'd appreciate it.
This is in relation to the MTA stuff?
MTS, Municipal
I'm sorry.
Tax Services.
The
Yeah.
out-of-state plates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out-of-state plate, yeah. I can help you, Paul.
All right. We'll put that together after I know that the last batch of bills is put in.
Correct.
So how much tax would be based on that 10 million? Approximately how much would we be billing?
10,517,447 times 0.022. $231,383 based on last year's car mill rate. It's probably a little bit higher than that because some of those assessments are from years before the what do you call it? Before the state changed the law and
32
cuffed
mil.
our hands.
Yeah, 32.46.
Yeah. So 231,000, maybe it might be as high as 250.
Okay,
So
great.
it's been doing well.
Great.
All right. So
It's nothing
any
to scoff at.
questions? I'm sorry?
I said there's nothing to scoff at.
Nope.
Any other questions for Paul?
No, thanks, Paul. I appreciate it.
Okay. And then the last thing that we could bring up, and I'm going to ask Jared to chime in on this one as well, is just that the enterprise zone chart that we developed, and that was provided to you in the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. If everybody has that, I have it on my screen. If you want me to share it, I could do that too.
It might be easier if we could just share that right now. It's possible. Okay.
So if you remember, maybe 2 or 3 meetings ago, we presented this chart in a little bit different numbers, and it was all based on the assessed value or the taxable value of each of the properties, and so what we did was we added to this per the request of the committee to show also the tax value. And so that's what this chart shows. And it follows the same pattern that we looked at in the last one, where we kind of went looking at before the enterprise zone program started and what the value of the property was and what how much the tax was that was collected on it before before going on to the actually before the development started toward the EZ program. And then we show the current, what it is currently. And then we do a projection of by the time they've completed the enterprise zone program and they go back to being taxed at 100%, how much the tax value is. And so if we just look at the first one, 19 Day Street, and you look at the second, or I guess technically the third column of numbers, pre-EZ taxes, 19,712. And then you work your way over a few columns to the current tax value. That 19,712 is now up to $231,490. And then after the program ends, they'll be at $312,086. There's an assumption there that the value is going to stay where it is now. If that value changes, obviously, that if the value and the mill rate changes, which obviously it will, that amount's going to change. But you know, in order to see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel for each of these, even though you see the light, even in most cases, in the current tax value, definitely when they get finished with the enterprise zone program, we definitely see the benefit of it on the city side.
So if we look at the total here, we see that our current value in total about $4 million. And at the end of the enterprise zone, it'll jump up, better than double. Is that right?
That's right. Yep. And I think more importantly, because we're talking about the program here and what the value of the program is, if you look at the pre-EZ taxes, that was only $475,000.
Yeah.
You know, so you're talking about a massive increase by even up to now of about 10 times, and then going up to about 20 times after the program has expired for each one of them.
Here's a loaded question. Do we have the mall in there?
The mall is in there. The mall is represented by those 3 North Water Street properties.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. And to be frank, that's, you know, when you look at that, that's driving a lot of the increase.
Clearly.
In terms of the overall dollar amount. But if you look at the percentage, it's still good and it's still beneficial, even if you remove that from the equation. And technically the mall was not an enterprise zone program.
Yeah. I mean, the taxes when we started out, before the enterprise zone, you're only looking at about $230,000 in taxes.
Yeah.
And, you know, even those numbers don't hold up, we're going to have considerably more than $233,000 at the end of the enterprise zone, no matter what happens to the mall.
Right.
Great. Mr. Dellinger?
Yeah, I always think this is a very impressive chart. And I noticed there's only 2 properties on for 2024 and 1 for 2025. So I'm just curious, is it now any other properties coming on the chart in the next 2026 or beyond?
Paul, are you aware of anything that's out there, any development that's out there that could potentially qualify that we might expect to also come onto the EZ program?
I would just think of some of the Wall Street stuff. I don't know, some of the properties down there, if that qualifies or not. I'm not sure exactly.
No, I don't think Wall Street
would not
in the area. 467 West Avenue is a very large project that has the potential to come on. 370 West Avenue is coming on. But as they come on, other big ones are coming off, like 19 Day Street is going to be coming off soon. 123 Water Street's going to be coming off soon.
That was my other question. How long when you take
It's
them
a
off?
7-year program,
7
and it's the richest part of it is the first 2 years where you get 100% of your building taken away, the value, and you only pay the taxes on the land. And that's why when Jared was saying that the mall is a different animal, it's because the mall, instead of being 100, 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 as a graded scale of their reduction, the mall was just a straight 50% off of everything for 7 years. So that's why their numbers look so much larger than everybody else, because their reductions were less up front, but they're pretty much the same for the whole 7 years, other than reval changes.
Got it. Thank you.
But still, even so, the taxes that we were getting on that property that were down there were minimal compared to what we're getting now.
Oh
even
no,
at
the
50%.
the development is great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
They're just on a different program
Yeah. Okay.
and suing us.
And suing us. Well, why not? Ms. Edie.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Jared and Paul. I think I had asked this question before. I can't remember how I said it, but when this program ends, are we saying that's when the affordability of that building ends, and that they could potentially go to market rate?
Well, when their 7 years is up, yes, they go to whatever their full value is for tax purposes. So imagine you own $100 million a property that's worth $100 million, and it's 50 million worth of building and 50 million worth of land. For the first 2 years that you were on the program, that 50 million of building value would not be taxable. But in the third year, 50% of it was. So we would gain 25 million of value into the taxes right away. And then we would gain 10% every year through the next 4 years. And then at the end of that 7th year, once they go to the 8th year, they will be at the full 100 million, but it'll probably be more than 100 million because we'll have gone through at least one reval cycle during their 7-year period. And they will be at full market rate unless the city comes up with something new or the state comes up with something new to offer some sort of benefit.
Okay, I think that's the scary part, I'm thinking, because now, so like their lease ends and then we lose that affordability unit.
I'm not
necessarily.
What are you?
Yeah,
I think
I think Councilwoman Edie was asking about, how we have the affordability. I think it's the 200% of AMI is the income limit.
Oh, and us tracking them?
Not just tracking them, Paul, but what happens after the program is done? Are those developments still subject to that 200% of AMI limitation on the tenants who are in those developments?
Okay.
Or does that go away when the program is done?
The AMI portion of it, which is what we track for an apartment building's eligibility, that part would go away. They would not have to follow that rule. But if I'm not mistaken, and this is more of a Jay or Sabrina question where I'm going to broach now, when these apartment buildings are approved, they are approved and they have to have a certain number of affordable units that will always be there and that they always have to be rented at the affordable rate. The 200% AMI that's being applied to the enterprise zone program is applying to the entire building and saying, and I'll use 467 West Avenue as an example. They have 393 units. All 393 units have to be rented for less than that affordability program to be able to get the enterprise zone program.
Mm-hmm.
Once that program runs out, whatever negotiated deal that it was to say, hey, we'll let you build that project if you put this many affordable units in, that, as far as I know, doesn't go away. So if there were in that 393 unit building, let's just say that there were 40 workforce housing and or affordable units, those 40 would still be there because that was what they had to guarantee being there to be allowed to build it.
So it's in perpetuity.
Yes, as far as I know. Again, that's more of a question for economic development, or if Jared knows more than I do.
Yeah, it's a, you know, every property and every development's gonna have its own specifications. And so, you know, Paul's right. If you, on the other hand, if there's a portion of the development that is market rate and they're not subject to any kind of covenants or anything on the development in terms of affordability, other than the 200% AMI under the enterprise zone program. So if it's market rate and they only have to comply with the 200% AMI under the enterprise zone program, I believe I think what you're saying, Paul, is the enterprise zone restriction would go away once the 7 years have run its course, and they could, they could change their rates, their rental rates.
Right. And that's why buildings like 467 tend not to apply, because they do analysis is to see, is it better for us to be able to just open market rent these things? Because I don't know if everybody's driven by Steel Point recently and saw the big, huge building that's being built down there. And they've got apartments in that building that are going for 10 grand. So that's well above the 200% AMI. So it's a shell game with it to see which way it's more profitable for them.
So I'm sorry, just I want to be clear. I know with the market rate units in the workforce, the 10%, I know those can be market rate at some point. I thought these particular properties here were strictly affordable and would remain affordable.
Oh, no. They only have that restriction when they're on the program for the 200% AMI. But again, like I said, if they were only allowed to build because they said that they would have 20 or 30 affordable units, those 20 or 30 will, as far as I know, be there forever. Those can't change because those are part of the agreement to be allowed to build it.
Right. Okay.
So the ultra restrictive covenant of the enterprise zone, which covers all the units, goes away. And then the normal covenants of what was negotiated with the city for being allowed to build it kick in.
Okay, so those people in these units, when they get off that 7-year program, the people in these units may all have to move?
No.
I guess anything's possible.
But
200% AMI in this town is pretty high. I believe it's like if it's a family of 4, the 200% of AMI is $266,000.
Right.
For a single person, it's 180. So the limits are pretty high.
Yeah, it's a little different because for a workforce unit, your limit was $68,000 for one person.
Right. And what Paul is saying, though, if it's a workforce limit, if it's a covenant on the property itself, aside from the enterprise zone program, that's going to stay in place. That part of it would stay in place. It's just this 200% limitation restriction that would go away at the end of the program. I'm just doing a quick search on this. The median household income in Norwalk is $111,620. You have to double that to get to the 200%. So you're at like $220,000 in income. for these particular developments, subject to the enterprise zone
Okay,
limitation.
okay. It's different. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Anybody have anything to add to that? Okay, then let's move on. Thank you very much, Paul. It was very interesting, and we'll circle back and get together and do something for maybe next month in the elderly tax relief issue.
Okay.
Last, and so last on the last reports that we have is just to take a look at the parking authority budget. The parking authority budget is in the capital budget, which we've already approved, and it's been approved by the BET. But we thought that this would be a good opportunity for members of the committee to take a look at that parking authority budget. And I think we have with us this evening is I saw his name here before.
Brian Lutz.
Yeah. Yeah, where did you go? Oh, Brian. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Do you want can you share your screen and show us the it was in the package, but if you've got it available, could you share your screen with us and we can take a look at this budget?
Yeah, I don't know if Jared, you still have yours up. Could you share your screen? Would that be easier?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you. Good evening and thanks for having us. My name is Brian Lutz. I'm the Assistant Director of Parking for the city. Also in attendance is the General Manager of Park Norwalk, Sarak Legasa. The Park Norwalk budget reflects a stable, predictable system with continued reinvestment in the city's parking infrastructure. I'll quickly walk you through both revenue and expenses. Starting with the revenue, we're projecting an increase of 1.63% over last fiscal year. And overall, we continue to see a stable and steadily growing system. Demand remains strong across our core facilities, especially at the train stations. Monthly revenue grows just under 1%, driven by continued high utilization at the train stations and growing activity at Yankee Doodle Garage. Transient revenue increases close to 3%. Wall Street continues to be a standout. The district's momentum, restaurants, the district music hall, and a growing number of small businesses is translating directly into higher short-term parking activity. Meter revenue increases about 4.5%, reflecting positive citywide trends and the addition of on-street parking along West Avenue. Violation revenue dips slightly, less than 1%, as improved signage, clear regulations, and easier payment options continue to drive better compliance. This is an intentional outcome for our recent wayfinding and customer experience improvements. So it's a really good story there. And our other revenue just remains stable. Overall, the fiscal year 27 reflects a healthy, predictable system with strong commuter demand, growing activity in the Wall Street district, and continued improvements in compliance. On to the operating expenses. We're showing an increase of 0.73%, reflecting targeted reinvestment in core infrastructure while maintaining overall cost discipline. Personnel and benefits rise 2.49%, consistent with the performance-based wage adjustments. Security service increase significantly as we begin long-term deferred replacement of Park Norwalk's aging CCTV systems. Building and property repairs and maintenance increased 7.46%, driven by HVAC replacement at the South Norwalk train station and the Maritime Garage, which are both at the end of life. Snow removal, utilities, and insurance show modest trend-based adjustments. Ticket expense, this is a one-time catch-up purchase to replenish our low supply on hand. Management fee, this is a fixed contracted amount paid to LAS Parking for operating Park Norwalk's day-to-day parking operations. This amount is fixed. It does not change with revenue or activity, and it represents the contractual cost for the operation services LAS Parking provides. Permit and violation management increases 20% to support the new permit platform required for the upcoming residential parking program. Parking programs decreased by 50%, and that reduction is driven by our transition to a new vendor who's Miranda Creative, who delivers the same services at a lower cost and with stronger performance. This is a cost efficiency improvement, not a reduction in services. The city admin expenses increases 6.34%. These cover payroll allocations and city managed reimbursement for utilities and support services, consistent with the city's contractual obligations. Finally, debt service. Park Norwalk's debt service reflects our ongoing commitment to fiscal responsibility and long-term reinvestment in the city's parking infrastructure. The debt being paid down today is tied directly to the capital improvements that keep our facility safe, functional, and in a good state of good repair. Most notably, the rehabilitation work at the Yankee Doodle Garage and the Haviland parking deck. These investments ensure that Park Norwalk's assets continue to support residents, commuters, and local businesses while improving the resident and visitor experience citywide. In summary, the budget positions Park Norwalk on a solid financial footing with stable revenue discipline, spending, and continued reinvestment. We remain focused on delivering a reliable, customer-friendly system that supports Norwalk's broader mobility and economic goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Do you have any questions on that? Anything that anybody would like to have a little bit more detail on? Mr. Dellinger?
Yeah, just a quick question that the Norwalk train station garage, about how full does that get? Does it ever get completely full? What's the kind of the kind of
So it's a good question. Tuesdays through Thursdays, we are getting close to capacity. And Rock, keep me honest here, but I think the highest we've gotten so far is 90% occupied, maybe a little more, and that's typically on a Wednesday, just when most commuters go in.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, is there any plans for, I mean, sometimes, I go down there frequently and I just sometimes it seems pretty crowded, and I keep wondering what the future bodes for, like, parking, particularly on maybe the north side.
The north side. You're talking about the garage or the overflow lot?
Well, I'm talking about, I'm sorry, if you travel north in the Metro North, the south side of the railroad, south side of the railroad.
Yeah. I don't really have a comment on that. I'm not really sure how to answer that question.
I think there's construction going on there now or something, and there's
on the New Haven bound side, that's the new Spinnaker building that is going there. They also have they built a garage, and the city, I believe, gave them, I think they have to give 60, I think it's 60, don't quote me, 60 spaces for public usage inside that garage.
Okay, that's kind of what I was getting at. I was wondering if there's any additional parking in that area that would be useful for people going, down there. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Along the same lines as my colleague Rich just talked about, what is our capacity for? Do we have any idea what our capacity for parking is? We hear talk all the time when we talk about complete streets, about people complaining that they have no place to park their cars and running out of spaces. What is our capacity? I mean, are we running out of spaces? Do we have too many cars? Do we have?
So it's a good question. I don't know if the issue in Norwalk is, one of the issues, especially down in South Norwalk, is the on-street parking is heavily used. Webster Lot, the Haviland parking deck, and Maritime Garage are assets that are not typically at capacity when, whether it's on the weekends during lunchtime. It's just getting people to understand where to go. I actually have the kickoff meeting tomorrow with our wayfinding firm, Merge Design, who we are working with to improve our wayfinding throughout the city. The project is actually a design for the entire city that Park Norwalk's funding, but we, on Park Norwalk side, we're having a parking focused wayfinding system that we're working to install to allow people to understand that, hey, park at Maritime Garage. There's plenty of space, and it takes 5 minutes to walk down to Washington. That's what people don't understand. So if we get that kind of that messaging out there, it'll help people that say they go to the. It's funny because when I first visited Norwalk years ago, we went to the aquarium, and my wife and I were leaving. It was like, man, let's go get some food. We hopped in the car at Maritime Garage, left, pulled up to Washington Street, turned right, and I couldn't find any parking on street. And mind you, I've been in parking for 20 years, and turned on North Main, did a loop, and I couldn't find a spot. But I didn't know Webster Lot or the Haviland parking deck was there. So that's kind of like one of the things that I see now, just being in my role for almost 3 years here, and that's why we're really pushing the wayfinding, the project, because I think it's going to help people from out of town who are visiting here, going to the mall, going to the aquarium, visiting the different restaurants, to understand where a parking asset is, to make it easier, and understanding when they get there that, hey, there's a sign that says 5 minutes down to the restaurant district, the business district.
Can I ask Jim, is that an app that you're going to talk about, Brian? It sounds like a great idea. I mean, is that like an app that people would have? They could just look on the phone, find out the closest parking to them? Or?
There is conversation about trying to do some type of mobile solution, whether it directs them to the Park Norwalk website, but most of them are static signs.
Oh,
like if you go to New Haven, you'll see some of the. They'll show where the hospital is, maybe where the I don't know what the neighborhood's called, but where all the pizza places are. They'll have arrows, but they have 4 layers of them on the signs. That helps. And on top of it, there's also pedestrian walking signs. I've seen really, really fun graphics that are painted on the garage levels, letting people know, like, hey, this is where you're at. You're in Norwalk, or you're in this city. Here's some of the fun things to do while you're here. So it just gives people just a creative way of knowing how to spend their day here. Because it's really hard. Like if you're going, the aquarium's a perfect example. You go to the aquarium, it's kind of off the beaten path of Washington and North Main. You go to the garage, and if you know that there's a restaurant or there's some shopping around the corner, you'll just walk over there. But if you don't know, and you don't look at your phone, or do a Google search, like, hey, where should I go buy a t-shirt or a purse or something, you're going to get in your car and get in the same issue that I ran into, where you might not find an on-street spot.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking of an idea where you could, you look on the Google Maps, you see the parking spots, you click on it. It would be nice to know if, oh wow, there's 100 spots there for you or something.
Yeah, there is. We will be doing digital signs as well that will push occupancy data to our website. So if there's a lot of innovative parking solutions out there that will, if you want to prepay, if you want to reserve, you can reserve a spot at the train station at Maritime Garage, and it'll tell you, not now, but it will tell you the occupancy of that garage in real time. And there's some signs that are that we're looking to do too, that when you drive through the city, you'll see that, hey, Sono train station garage is 50% full or 90% full. So it gives people an idea, okay, I better find an alternate on where to go.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, do we have any other questions for Brian? Okay. All right, then. I'd like to get a vote to accept the report and the overview that Brian gave us. So All those in favor? Okay, that looks unanimous. Okay, anybody against? Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Brian. Very
Thank you.
informative.
Thank you. I try not to get too crazy with parking details, but there's really innovative things that are happening in the industry. And one thing Park Norwalk is we're forward thinking in our parking programs. But
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, thanks very much. It was really appreciate it. It was a good presentation.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Also, old business. We have nothing under old business, so let's move into item number 7, new business. And I'm going to go through these, and we have something else that we're going to add to this that didn't make it. I think, did everybody get the memo on this? Jared, did you send it to everybody or? Okay, so I'm going to hold that to the very end, and we'll have a resolution on that to add that to new business a little later on. So item A is under new business, authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Tyler Technologies, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $334,201 for the annual Tyler Munis ERP SaaS renewal agreement account allocation as noted. This is our ERP enterprise reporting system, better known as Munis, and it's been an integral part of our backbone of keeping our funds straight. Do I have a motion on this item? Mr. Dellinger moves the item. Joyce, do you want to talk a little bit about this and what it is?
Yes.
This is, by the way, is a single source item that we have. There's no other competitors right now.
All right. Thank you. Good evening. This request is for the renewal of the Tyler Munis ERP system for the next 3 years. Munis is the primary financial and administrative software used by both the city and the Board of Education. So what Munis do is they process payroll, managing the purchase requisition, purchase order, account payable, account receivable, budgeting, human resource, and including also the employee self-service and all the financial reporting. It is one of the most critical business system we operate, both city and Board of Education side. So city and Board of Education has been using Munis for approximately 25 years. And today the system support more than 200 active users across both organizations. So about 50% is around 100 users are city staff, and the rest of it are Board of Education staff. So this renewal is extend our software as a service called SaaS agreement through September 30, 2028. It is aligning the contract term with the city's fiscal year and make future budgeting and contract administration easier. So this agreement limits annual cost increase to no more than 5%. So which will provide us with a predictable budget for the next 3 years. So the annual cost for the first year is $334,201. That including cloud hosting, software maintenance, technical support, security update, and software enhancement. And that's, and the continued access to all the current licensed Munis modules. So IT serving as a technology liaison. So we are handling the cybersecurity, single sign-on, and we are handling all the technical support and or any kind of backup and restore. So since Munis is really a mission critical system for both city and the Board of Education, so I would, like to get approval from, from a committee member tonight for this multi-year renewal. Yeah. So I'm here to answer any question you might have.
Thank you, Joyce. Anybody have any questions, Mr. Dillinger?
I've used Munis for many of my years in schools, so I pretty much think it's the gold standard for finance, isn't it? And I can't imagine. I never heard of another system, to tell you the truth. So, and I'm glad to see it was 3 years. I saw the number, and I didn't hear the number of years, so that reassured me. So, yeah, I know that it's a very popular system.
Yep.
I think also we should mention that, I mean, it is, everybody thinks about Munis as the financial system, but it really is a lot more than a financial system. We can handle purchasing, payroll, et cetera, et cetera. So it's an integrated enterprise-wide system. So,
Yeah,
and
one of the things we're adding to it, to piggyback on what you're saying, Mr. Chairman, is that we're adding a capital assets module to it in order to do, to more easily track those assets, and and especially when it comes time to report on our annual audit, we'll make that process easier as well.
any other questions? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, that looks unanimous. Thank you. Okay, thanks, Joyce. Don't go too far. B, authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Palo Alto Networks, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $146,148.01 for a 3-year subscription to Cortex XDR Pro Licensing Unit 42 Managed Detection Response Services, MDR, Managed Detection Response Services. These services provide advanced endpoint protection, threat detection, incident response, and 24/7 security monitoring to help safeguard the city's information technology system from cybersecurity threats, account allocation, so noted. I think this is really a very, very important item that we have here that will help us improve our battle against cyber threats, which we see periodically, and touch wood that we've not been burned significantly in any place. So, Joyce, can you give us a little history behind this, and how I think this is kind of an enhanced system that we're getting now over and above what we had before? So,
Yes.
give us a little background if you don't mind. Oh,
Sure.
let me have a motion on this first.
Oh,
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Dillinger, okay.
all right. So this item is request for the committee's members' approval of the 3-year subscription for Palo Alto Cortex XDR Pro and the Unit 42 Managed Detection and Response, we're short for MDR service. So together, this cybersecurity solution will help protect city's computer, server, employee account, and data from the cyber threat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there are 2 parts in this request. First part is we're asking for 950 Cortex XDR Pro license. So the city has been relying on Palo Alto Cortex XDR, the lighter version of the XDR as a primary endpoint security platform for the past 7 years. This proposal is to get upgrade from the Cortex XDR to Cortex XDR Pro. And we used to have an 800 license. Then after the clear, through the review, we need to bump into 950, given that we have added on more server and more endpoints into our environment. So basically, yeah. So the second part is is a 24/7 MDR service covered by Unit 42. So Unit 42 basically is Palo Alto team. They kind of have a subdivision called Unit 42, and they are supposedly the Unit 42 NDR provide a team of cybersecurity professional, and who monitor our city environment around the clock. So it will assist with threat hunting, investigation, response when suspicious activity is detected. They will be a very good partner with the city's IT team and covering our blind spot, especially 24/7 at night. So together this service provide continued monitoring for our system. So that would be a good add-on solution to add on to the city's service and IT service. So currently, city does not have a personnel available to monitor cybersecurity activity overnight, not on the weekend or during the holiday, and where the attack normally is coming, off the hour, and where we caught off guard. So this service really fill up the gap and help ensure the potential threat. And for us, and the cybersecurity will review and address the threat even when city employees are off duty. During the day between 9 to 5, we do have lots of the fire to put out, and it could be ticketing, it could be our ongoing support, and so lots of time our IT team is really running around. If you come to IT department, you probably see lots of people. We are either in the new community center, fixing the network, or we might into PD or transfer station. We are not at our desk all the time. So with this monitoring service, they are really just covering us, right? So if anything happen, they have a professional team. They know exactly what we are dealing with, because it might happen for another client. So it's their software, it's their AI tool they are detecting, and they will help us to understand the solution and fix the problem immediately. So CTIT we are active participant in the Region 1 Cybersecurity Committee. So we meet once a month. So we receive a lot of update from state and federal cybersecurity partners, including the CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. So one of the most consistent recommendation has been, they are keep on reminding us we need to implement, we need to have the implementation for the MDR service, because there's lots of statistics sharing through this organization. They show the municipality with MDR service are able to detect the threat sooner, respond more effectively, and recover more quickly from the cybersecurity incident. Then the organization really rely solely on the internal resource. So that's the recommendation from the state and federal, from the CISA. I would love to have, the committee approval, get a committee's approval on this item.
Okay. It's been moved already. So is there any questions or comments?
Just one question, if you mind. Joyce, thanks very much. I think it's very important, no question. I'm just curious, can you tell us about how many significant threats have occur, what the frequency is generally to the system in Norwalk? I mean, I don't know if it's,
so far, knocking on the wood, we do have, it's never about when it's it's not about how, it's all about when. It could be happening to us tomorrow. It could be a zero attack that nobody caught up. Even Microsoft is not going to they caught, so we could be a victim of anybody can be a victim of the zero threat tomorrow or next moment. So so we do have Palo Alto firewall that we subscribe to their service, so they protect us, a city as a whole. So we are hiding behind the firewall, right? The thing is that we are our network team is constantly patching our system, patching, and sometimes Palo Alto will be sending out the emergency because they find out what there is a threat and the firewall the software didn't think about that could be a scenario. It didn't cover by their software. So the constantly patching is is a goal. And so far, CT have a couple of the email user the account got hacked, but we CTIT address the issue right away. We disable the user's account, within 5-10 minutes once we find out. Right. So, but it would be nice if we have some team like help us. Knowing that even we are not monitoring, like sometimes we might doing something else, but or in the meeting, but somebody will be watching for us. Yeah. So
I understand. Thanks. Yeah. No,
thank
seems
you.
I get it.
Yeah, I think this is incredibly important. And I haven't had been on the technology infrastructure department at Citigroup, and the number of attacks that we get on a day was just phenomenal. We had this center in Jersey City that just had a light, had the whole wall was made up of the Citigroup environment all around the world, and there were just lights going on all the time. So I think this is really important that we move forward on this. Anybody else have any other questions? I know it's starting to get late, so I want to get through this. No questions, then we'll just call for a vote. All those in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you.
Letter C, authorize the mayor, Barbara C. Smith, to enter into an agreement with ClearGov for electronic platform to create operational budgeting account. So noted. This is the operational budgeting capital project. Before I move this or ask for a motion to move this, do we have a dollar amount on this?
Yeah, Jim, that's it's $50,000.
50,000?
Yes.
Okay. Could I have a motion from somebody to adjust this item to include the value of $50,000? Roger, do you want to make that that motion?
Yes.
Roderick Sawyer? Yeah, thank you. All right, so this will be amended to read operational budgeting capital project for $50,000. And it's coming out of that same account, correct?
Correct.
Okay, great, thanks. So I have a motion on that amended motion. Mr. Smith again, Sawyer, thanks. All right, so this is, I believe, the operational platform that Tom, that you're going to be setting up to put together or organize our capital budget going forward.
Not exactly, Jim.
Okay.
If
That was a good guess on my part, though.
If you recall, ClearGov is the vendor that we used for the digital budget book last year. We've actually had it. This will be the second year. Last year we sort of dipped our toes into the digital budget book world. This year we'll be doing it much more extensively. But ClearGov does offer a number of additional modules. And the next module that we're looking to take on is called operational budgeting. And that's what we're looking to do here. So that that module is $50,000. And the way it works in the software world, year one, the implementation costs and the first year startup costs are capitalized, which is what we're looking to amend the agreement for $50,000. In years 2 and on, then migrate over into the operating budget. So it's just year one for $50,000 for the implementation and startup costs. So that's what we're amending the original ClearGov agreement with the digital budget book for. Yeah, what will operational budgeting give us? Right now, the process is rather manually intensive, both for us on the budget team, meaning Kim and I, and as well as the users, all the departments, the 35 different departments out there, and inputting all of their operating budgets, what their requests are, and then the series of back and forth throughout the 7 to 8 month budget process, the pro forma, the requests, the CFO recommended, the mayor recommended, the BET, so on and so forth, the entire back and forth process. And each step of the way, there's quite a bit of activity that takes place both on Excel spreadsheets as well as inputs into Munis. And without boring you with all the details, which you may very well already be at, we have somewhere around 3,000 different line items in the operating budget. Not every one of them gets adjusted, but you can imagine how labor intensive it can be for 35 different departments that have office supplies, that have travel accounts, that have full-time salaries, part-time salaries, overtime, so on and so forth. So the operational budget module will help to streamline that process and make the input process and the give and take between the departments and the budget team a bit more streamlined and a bit more user-friendly.
So this will automatically roll everything up to the top or the top lines, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a series of drill
Consolidate
down.
and roll it up. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well,
okay.
So the first year, much like with the digital budget book, the first year there will be some growing pains and some, probably take a bit of time to interface into to Munis. But that's one of the selling points with ClearGov is the vast majority of their clients are Munis based. So we saw that with the digital budget book, the integration with Munis was pretty strong, pretty seamless, and we expect the same on the operational budget side. So when we start the fiscal 28 budget process in the October-November timeframe, we expect to be up and running with this and having the departments input their initial requests using this tool.
Okay, great. Does anybody have any questions for Tom? I just get nightmares just thinking about this when I used to work and we had, an 800-page book or something like that. And you come back down to the last page or the front page and it doesn't agree to what change you just put in. So I get nightmares about it. So, okay, all those in favor? It's unanimous again. Good. Thank you. D, bond resolution for fiscal year 26-27 capital budget. This is the approval of resolution making appropriations for the various public improvements aggregating $67,850,999 for the fiscal year 26-27 capital budget and authorizing the issuance of $67,850,999 general obligation bonds of the city to meet certain appropriations in the fiscal year 2026-27 capital budget. Do I have a motion? Mr. Dellinger, or I'll give to Ms. Eady this time. She's been hanging in there, so. Tom or Jared, do you want to just take this one?
Yeah, I can take it. This should be very quick because it's really you've already adopted all the capital budget authorizations for FY27. This is really
Right.
just a formal expression that's allowing us to issue bonds for up to that amount. We will be talking with the departments over the next couple of months leading up to the bond issuance to narrow that amount down and do, as we call it, the sizing of the bond issuance.
Okay. And the a copy of the capital budget, this agrees to the capital budget, which is in the package that we all looked at.
Yeah, and just to add one more thing, because the additional item that I'm hoping you guys are going to add to the agenda doesn't, in aggregate, in net, will not change the amount. You'll see some changes in there, but they net out to that same amount that's in this overall authorization for issuance.
Correct. Okay. Any other questions? All right, I'll just call the vote. All those in favor? That's unanimous again. Great, thank you. Item E is approve the ARPA transfer request from account so noted project manager in the amount of $63,650.06 and account noted for capital access manager in the amount of $27,349.49 to move those those amounts from those two accounts to account so noted mayor initiative ARPA in the amount of $91,000. This appears to be using up some of the ARPA money and transferring it to the mayor's initiative account.
Correct. And the mayor's initiative in this case is the sustainability director who was hired on a temporary basis and is going to be extended to the end of this calendar year. And so this is to fund that position to the end of the calendar year so that they can develop the final sustainability plan. And just to give you a heads up, you're going to see these probably every month as we have to spend all of the ARPA money by the end of this calendar year. And so, we're going to find little amounts here and there. We got to do some nip and tuck and to make sure that we spend every dime that we've gotten from the federal government. And so there's going to be some little transfers probably on a monthly basis from here on out.
All right. Okay. Anybody have any questions on this? All right, I'll call the vote. All those in favor?
I do have a question. I'm sorry. I was trying to get my thing.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm not.
Don't be sorry.
Are these, if we need to do that, is it just to the mayor's discretion of where the money goes, or it's like collective?
No, all of these we have to go through this process with all of these. And so we have to, when we, by the rules of this money, we have to let the federal government know how this money is being spent, and it has to and those purposes of that money have to be approved by the council. And so, so when we go back to them, we can't just say, we've got $100,000 for, to give to the mayor to spend. They have to know the exact purpose to make sure that it qualifies for the program and that ultimately that it's being used for that purpose.
Yes, no, I think I understand that part, but to whatever program that we choose, is it up to the mayor's discretion, or is the state telling us where we can move the money to, or is that going to be all of us collectively saying we need money here, you know what I mean?
Kind of like, think about it like pretty much any budget item where typically they start with the mayor and because the mayor's closest to it through all the departments, and to say, hey, we'd like to, or we need X amount of money for this program or for this position. And so bubbles up to the mayor, and then if it's something that's a priority to the mayor, she'll bring it to you guys to get it approved.
Okay.
This was, I think, in connection with Jody Trendler's
correct
projects that it's going to go on a little bit longer than we thought it was
Yeah.
going to go on. So we needed it for her to finish that. We needed this additional funding.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Dillinger?
Yeah, I just want to say, I know some members of the Ad hoc Sustainability and Resilience Committee really appreciate this because of the work she's doing and wanting her to stay on. They were great appreciative of this extension.
Yeah. It's worthwhile spending.
Yeah.
But I think that's good. I think, Nicole, you bring up a really good point. It's not, and we should be clear about this, is not a slush fund that we're putting together that the mayor can spend wherever she wants. She's still got to get our approval to spend it. So that's what this is for. Just a quick question. How much more do we have left over and above that 91,000?
We're down to about the last $200,000 of this out of what started out, I believe, at 39 million.
Wow. And we have till when?
Till the end of this calendar year, December 31st.
Okay. Okay, great. All right, now I'll call for the vote again. All those in favor? Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. All right, one last item that didn't make the agenda. So I'm going to read this resolution, and I will put forward this resolution, and we have to get somebody to second it, and then we'll include it in the minutes, and it'll be part of a package that goes to the council. So let me read this first. Resolution to authorize funds for public improvements. Whereas after the adoption of the mayor's proposed financial year 27 capital budget, 4 additional projects were identified for inclusion in the city and the Board of Education totals. Whereas the Finance Department is committed to maintaining total bond authorizations at the final amount approved by the City Council during their April 14th, 2026 meeting. Whereas the City of Norwalk received additional municipal grant aid funding from the state of Connecticut for a 2-year period, and such funding can be utilized to reduce bond authorizations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the following items are approved. Section number 1A, $3,300,000 in total reductions to the financial year 2027 capital budget in the following amounts, and B, authorization of the same accounts and amounts for expenditure from the city's municipal grant need allocation. TMP accounts, though noted, roadway design construction, $1,500,000 from the fiscal year 26 allocation. DPW account, so noted, bridge repairs, $1,200,000 from the financial year allocation, financial year 26 allocation. DPW account, so noted, paving management, $600,000 from the financial year 27 allocation. Section 2, $3.3 million in additions to the FYE 2027 capital budget in the following accounts and amounts. Recreation and Parks account, so noted, for the Malmquist Field, $2.5 million. Community Services account, so noted, ADA Implementation Plan, $336,000. NPS accounts numbered capital repairs and replacements, $224,000. And NPS account, so noted, school projects and equipment, $240,000, and total of $3,300,000. So I'd like to get a motion on that resolution, and then we'll discuss it. Mr. Sawyer, thank you. So this basically, as you can see, as I read it out, is more or less just a transfer from unused funds in the 26 and partially in 27 budget to other projects that were felt to be needed more than the ones that, well, there was some residual left over from a couple, it appears that some residual left over from last year, and then a little bit from one of the accounts in the fiscal year 27. So this is it's a wash. It's $3.3 million from one set of accounts to another set of accounts. Mr. Schmidt, do you want to add anything to that? More clarification than what I just put in?
No, I don't think so. You know, we're just moving some projects that so that they won't get bonded, and instead will be funded out of the municipal grant and aid account and the $10 million that we got in municipal grant and aid in total, and then kind of backfilling on the capital side to be bonded some other projects that are not eligible for the municipal grant and aid funding.
All right. Any questions on that? Any other comments? Questions? Okay. In that case, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor? Once again, unanimous. What a cohesive group.
It's the leadership.
I'll send the check later. Okay, that concludes. Is there any other motions we want to entertain?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Dellinger. I motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Great. It's unanimous. It looks like we lost a few committee members along the way.
Good night, everyone.
But okay. Thanks, everybody. I'm sorry it went a little late tonight, but it was just fun, wasn't it? Okay.
Thanks.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for your
Thanks, Jim.
Have a great night.
time.
Have a good night.
Thank you.